Hi everyone, this is just going to be a short video on how you can use a plugin to customize the fonts in your WordPress template. There are many ways to customize fonts, everywhere from a couple clicks to actually opening up the CSS and the HTML and doing it there. And there are some methods that combine the two. We're going to look at the simplest one, just a plugin. So let's start with that. Get into your dashboard. Okay, log into your WordPress, get into your dashboard, and we're going to go to plugins. And we're going to go to add new, right? So we want to add a new plugin. And we're just going to search for easy Google fonts. Okay. Now, depending on what template you installed, this might actually have been preloaded. So if you see like something other than install now, if you see like already installed, you may already have it, okay? So just bear with me and we'll get to the next step as soon as we install it. All right, so once it's installed, you have to click activate, right? You always need to activate a new plugin. Okay, and it will take you to this setting page, which we're gonna actually ignore, okay? I'll talk about what happens here in a moment. For now, we're just going to go to Appearance and Customize. And now we've got a new option that probably wasn't there before called Typography. So we'll click that, and we have two options, Theme Typography and Default Typography. Theme is a blend of using HTML and CSS, as well as the graphical user interface to edit the typography. So you probably know that if you're using Illustrator or InDesign, if you want to edit the text, you just click on it, right? You click on the text box and you set the font for that text box or the paragraph style, right? With CSS, when you want to select something, you give it a name. So I can give it a name like main heading, and then I'll just type in main heading, font style, Helvetica, and it changes, okay? It lets you, using a graphical user interface, set all the font styles, but you still have to go into the HTML and give it a class name to apply those styles. We're not going to use this method, but just in case you're wondering what's going on, that's what that's all about. So we're going to click Default Typography. And this is where you can start setting new fonts and colors and all those sorts of things. So I'm going to start with paragraphs. This is a paragraph, okay? So let's click the drop down and font family, and I'm just going to pick something at random here. Amiri, right? We've got Alan, right? Cool. So what about heading 1? Right, this is the next one here, heading 1. Well, the question is, how do we know what heading 1 is going to change? And you can just guess and check, okay? So I could assume, well, this looks like the main heading, maybe that's heading 1. And I could change the font, and we'll see if anything happens. Okay, nothing happens. So this is not heading 1, all right? Maybe it's heading 2. Maybe it's heading 2. Yeah, okay, so it was heading 2. Maybe you don't want to guess, right? Maybe you want to be a little bit quicker. Well, we can actually just highlight the text we're interested in, okay? Right click and say Inspect Element. And this is going to vary depending on what browser. I'm in Safari, okay? It's going to be Inspect something. So we'll click that. And then look, here's all the code that makes this HTML appear. And if you look, we're looking at the text that says add block patterns, okay? And highlighted in blue is text that says add block patterns. And you can see there's these little tags that say H3. That stands for heading 3, right? So heading 3, well, let's change heading 3. Font family, I'll just pick something at random. There we go. You can also, there's some other options here like color, right? Or we can pick a custom color. All right, so lots of fun things to explore here. You can change the size, all right, line height, plenty of options, letter spacing even, tracking, okay? Now, I think you might say, okay, but what if I have, what if I want to make my own page, right? How can I set things to be paragraph in heading 1 and heading 2 so that I can come here and change them? All right, that's actually easy to do. I'm just gonna hit the X, okay? And I'm gonna go to a page here. So we're gonna go to posts. I'm gonna go to all posts, and you can do the same thing on your pages. And I'm just gonna pick brand identity. I'll pick this page here. Okay. I'm gonna add some blocks in. So I'm gonna add a block. I'm gonna add a paragraph. Just type in hello world. All right. And then I'm going to add another block. And this one's going to be a heading. And you can see once I create this heading, I get to pick H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. So let's just pick H6. And I'll just write, I'm an H6 heading. And I'm going to update. Now we're going to go back to our customize page, appearance, customize, typography. Well, actually, let's go to that page. So this is the page I was working on, right? So there's my, I'm an H6 heading, hello world, right? Default typography, heading 6. There we go. Now I can change these guys. One other thing to keep in mind is like, maybe you're not familiar with all these fonts, right? I'm certainly not. They're just the Google fonts. So if you search Google fonts, right? It's all of these guys, right? So say I'm like, okay, I like palette mosaic. I can come back to here and go to, man, did I pick literally the only one that's not in there? Okay, I must have. Okay, Laura. I'm going to pick Laura. Laura, there it is. So we can change our text to Laura. All right. So that's the basics of it. And Google Fonts is great because no one has to download anything. These are freely available. Any end user with an internet connection should be able to see the fonts. All right. So thanks for watching, and have a great day.